bigger than before. Welcome to the show. AM 1220 KHTS. This is your host, Fred Arnold, on the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber of Commerce Business Spotlight. I'm joined by my friend John Gardner. John Gardner from, let me get this right, JSG Insurance Services.
That's correct.
Recently changed names, and you're a veteran in the business. You've been doing this since 1987. You know what you're doing.
That's correct. We've been in it since 87, multiple jobs inside the insurance company and now outside owning an agency. So I've kind of gotten to see the business from both sides.
Tell us about your approach to business, your approach to insurance, your approach to your customers.
My approach is more of an educational approach. That whole idea of insurance sales, that word kind of bothers me a little bit. For me, insurance is one of those things where people don't understand it. And so my goal is to educate them and help them understand the things about coverage, what it means, and not just give them a quote. I've been in this for a long time. I'm in this for the long haul. So if I don't get a client today, I'm okay with that. If I've helped them do something with their current policy and make it better, that's fine. 10 years down the road, maybe I'll get them as a client. I'm really, like I said, in this for the long haul and to educate them. So that's my approach.
Yeah, very important that we all come from a consultative side when we're helping customers.
That's a good word, consultancy.
It's important to find out what people's needs and values and desires and wants are so we can satisfy those. It's
Right.
not how we want to be treated, it's how they need and want to be treated.
Right, and you mentioned needs, and that's really the difference, because most people will go and say, give me a quote, here's my insurance. And what we try to do is say, well, what is it that you need? You and I may need very different insurance for very different reasons. And so uncovering that need and then providing a solution for that need is really what we try to do with our clients.
Let's talk about an annual review. We do that in the mortgage industry, an annual review, just to make sure your numbers are right, your coverage is correct. Tell us about your annual review.
Well, what we do is we work with both business clients and individual clients, and especially on our business clients, as far as an annual review, business that's growing or declining, unfortunately, or whatever the situation is, their needs change pretty drastically over a period of time, or they've hired an employee for the first time, or anything like that. So we work with our business owners every year to make sure that if something's changed, we're there to cover that and make sure that we've addressed that need. Even on people who own autos or homes and individual people, they may have had a baby, or they may have something else in their family may have changed. They may have changed their job and don't drive as far to work. All those things factor into that. So by meeting with them on an annual basis, and sometimes via email, sometimes phone, sometimes in person, whatever works for them, gives us a chance to make sure that, again, we address their need at that time.
We call that life-changing events people have.
Yes, absolutely.
Let's talk about just briefly different business insurances.
Well, even a small business needs insurance. I think there's a lot of small businesses out there think, oh, I don't need insurance. But think about the situation where maybe you have to let go an employee, and that employee just didn't do what they were supposed to do, and so they turn around and they sue you. I mean, this is what happens, and you're like, well, hey, I did everything correctly. Well, the fact is, you still need a defense for that. So there's that kind of insurance. For a business, let's say you're doing a presentation on one of those projector screens and somebody trips over the cord and falls and hurts themselves. Well, guess what? That's business insurance that you need to have for that. So I'm of the opinion that if this business is what makes you money and is your baby, you need to protect it. And business insurance can be had at a very minimal cost, even for some of the basics. So even though you think, I don't have any exposure, you probably do. And talking to an insurance professional will help uncover some of those things so that you have a better idea of what your exposure may be.
Yeah, what your risk is. Because
Exactly.
It's all about risk and liability. What should you look for in an agent? What are those characteristics, and what questions should you be asking?
Well, all agents and brokers have to be licensed through the state. So you're immediately getting somebody hopefully at a higher level than you might normally see in other industries. But the difference is some are just there to sell you a policy. You ask for an auto policy, they'll sell you an auto policy. They don't educate you, they don't ask you questions. So for me, what you look for is you look for somebody who's willing to ask you questions about what your needs might be, to uncover what those needs are. That may be a little uncomfortable sometimes, but it's really in your best interest to have that information. You look for somebody that may have staff. If you're a one-man operation and you're out dealing with a client and then another client calls and needs help and you're not there to help them, then you're not providing them a good service. So somebody who's got the backup staff to support your needs as well, I think is very important too. And then somebody who really cares about you and what your needs are, and not, again, just trying to sell a policy, but somebody who really does is looking out for you. And
Yeah.
I think that's important. So asking questions in those areas, I think, is important.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that, and it's finding people's needs and desires and really how to cover themselves from a risk standpoint.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
John, those who want to reach out to you, I know you're the same John as before, just different name change. How
Right.
can they get you?
Well, our office is on Turney Road, 27413 Turney Road, Suite 160 in Valencia. But the best way to reach us is probably via phone, and our phone number is 661-388-5288. And that's really the best way to reach us, and we come to your home or your business to do an appointment, or we can do it in our office, whatever works for individuals.
Ladies and gentlemen, John Gardner from JSG Insurance. I got to get that right because I've been saying a different name for so many years.
Okay.
Insurance Services. Member of the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors. So congratulations. Thanks for your service.
Thank you.
Thanks
for
for
that.
being involved in the community, and thanks for all you do.
Hey, thank you for having me this morning. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, John. Ladies and gentlemen, John Gardner, a good friend of mine, good friend of the show on the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber of Commerce Business Spotlight. This has been your host, Fred Arnold, on AM 1220 KHTS.